They are phantoms on the African plains. An animal so intelligent, so successful, and so brutally efficient, it stands in a league of its own. This is the African wild dog, or painted wolf, and it's a living paradox. While it's one of the continent's most formidable predators, it's also teetering on the brink of extinction. Their numbers have crashed from 500,000 to fewer than 7,000 today, and some experts fear the true number is closer to just 3,000. It's a desperate race against time. The threats are relentless: shrinking habitats, deadly wire snares, and diseases spilling over from domestic animals. But the key to their survival is hidden in their biology, their social lives, and the vast, unforgiving territories they call home. Tonight, we follow these dedicated scientists into the heart of the African bush. We'll join them in the lab and on the chase to reveal the 5 critical secrets they are uncovering, secrets that could finally turn the tide for the painted wolf. The first secret isn't found in a dramatic chase or a whispered observation in the bush. It's unlocked hundreds of miles away, in the quiet, sterile environment of a modern genetics lab. The key: a single drop of blood, a tuft of hair, or a scat sample carefully collected from the field. For decades, researchers watched as human expansion roads, farms, and fences chopped the wild dog's vast territories into tiny, disconnected islands. This habitat fragmentation is their #1 threat. But how badly was this isolation hurting them? Were packs becoming inbred? Were they losing the genetic resilience needed to fight off disease? Dr. Olivia Kent, a conservation geneticist, spends her days piecing together these genetic puzzles. Using whole genome sequencing, her team can now read the entire genetic blueprint of a wild dog from the smallest sample. The level of detail is something unimaginable just a decade ago. The findings can be sobering. The data sometimes reveals dangerously low levels of genetic diversity, a clear warning that a population is vulnerable to collapse. But it also provides the solution. By identifying which populations are most distinct or inbred, conservationists can make life or death decisions with incredible precision. Genetic analysis is the first step in planning translocations, moving dogs between areas to mimic the natural dispersal that humans have made impossible. Think of it as a high-stakes matchmaking service, ensuring new introductions bolster genetic health. This science provides the hard data needed to rebuild a fractured species, one strand of DNA at a time. The blood code tells a story of survival against the odds, and for those who can read it, it offers a map back from the brink. As the day's heat fades on the savannah, a strange energy ripples through the resting pack. This is the prelude to the hunt, a moment that reveals the second great secret of the wild dog world. Their decisions are made not by a dictator, but through a startlingly democratic process. For years, observers were puzzled by a peculiar behavior. Right before moving out, the dogs would erupt into a frenzy of sneezing. It seemed random, almost comical. But recent studies uncovered something extraordinary. The sneeze isn't about dust or allergies, it's a vote. This all happens in the pre-hunt rally, a social negotiation that decides the pack's next move. A dog that wants to initiate a hunt will show its intention, and others respond with sharp, audible sneezes. Researchers discovered that the more sneezes there are, the more likely the pack is to get up and start hunting. They need to reach a quorum. If a dominant dog initiates the rally, it takes fewer sneezes, fewer votes to get things going. But if a lower-ranking member wants to hunt, it needs to gather more support to sway the group. This is consensus building in action, a mechanism that ensures the pack only commits to an exhausting hunt when enough members are truly motivated. The hunt itself is a masterpiece of evolution. These aren't ambush predators like a leopard or brute force hunters like a lion. The wild dog is a pure endurance athlete. Their hearts are proportionally larger than those of domestic dogs, powering a body built for the long run. They can maintain high speeds for miles, a relentless, flowing tide of predators that simply outlasts its prey. While many hunts in dense woodlands are short sprints, These dogs are capable of covering over 30 miles in a single day. Out on the open plains, their strategy is on full display. The pack works with unspoken synergy, communicating through subtle body language and high-pitched, twittering calls that keep them connected. Recent studies with advanced GPS collars show there aren't necessarily specialized roles in the chase. Instead, they overwhelm prey with sheer, synchronized pressure from all angles. This teamwork is so effective their hunting success rate can top 80%, far surpassing Africa's other large carnivores. The democratic decision to start the chase, followed by the gift of extreme endurance, makes the painted wolf a near-perfect hunter. Their strength lies not in the power of one, but in the collective will of the pack. The third secret to understanding wild dogs isn't a behavior or a gene, it's a profound challenge. Imagine trying to find a handful of elite athletes who are always on the move across an area the size of a small country. Now, imagine that landscape is a mix of dense bush and rugged terrain where they can vanish in an instant. Wild dog home ranges are immense, sometimes exceeding 1,500 square kilometers. They are ghosts, masters of disappearing, and following them is one of the toughest jobs in conservation. For field researcher Ben Carter, the day begins before sunrise with one simple goal: find the pack. You might think a radio collar is a magic bullet, but out here, it's anything but. In this vast, fragmented landscape, picking up that faint signal is an art form. It means driving for hours, stopping to hoist an antenna, and listening for a weak blip that could be miles away. Just getting one location can take half a day of relentless searching. This is where modern technology offers a fragile lifeline. Custom GPS collars are revolutionizing the work. Fitted to at least one dog in a pack, these devices transmit location data, giving researchers like Ben a starting point. The most advanced collars even have accelerometers and gyroscopes, which don't just say where the dog is, but what it's doing. They can distinguish between walking, resting, and the explosive burst of a high-speed chase, opening a window into their lives even when they're completely out of sight. This data is crucial for mapping their territories, identifying corridors between protected areas, and pinpointing hotspots for conflict with humans. But technology is only half the story. Researchers still rely on ancient tracking skills, conducting walking transects and scanning the dirt for a paw print or a sketch sample. This work is physically demanding and often frustrating. A pack can travel 50 kilometers in a day, meaning a location from dawn is useless by noon. It's a constant state of pursuit. And this chase reveals a sobering truth. The world as the wild dogs see it isn't some pristine wilderness. Their GPS tracks show them navigating a dangerous mosaic of protected reserves and human-dominated farmland. Tracking them isn't just science, it's bearing witness to their struggle to survive on a fading frontier. Deep inside an abandoned termite mound, hidden from the sun and prying eyes, lies the heart of the wild dog world, the den. Here we find the fourth secret, a system of cooperative care so profound it seems almost utopian, but one with a brutal reality check. At the center of it all is the alpha pair, typically the only ones in the pack to breed, forming a bond that can last a lifetime. But raising their litter, which can number up to 20 pups, is a job for the entire pack. When hunters return from a kill, the pups eat first. The adults, even the dominant alphas, stand back and wait. The hunters regurgitate meat for the young, a behavior triggered by their excited, high-pitched begging. The entire pack operates as a single, selfless unit. Adults take turns on guard duty while others hunt. They even care for sick or injured packmates, a level of social support rarely seen in the wild. In some incredible cases, subordinate females who haven't even bred have been observed lactating to help nurse the alpha's pups, a testament to the powerful bonds holding the pack together. But this cooperative nursery is a fragile sanctuary. The pups are incredibly vulnerable. Lions and hyenas are a constant threat, always looking for a chance to raid a den. Worse still is the invisible enemy, Disease. Proximity to human settlements means contact with domestic dogs, which carry canine distemper and rabies. These diseases are lethal to wild dogs and can sweep through a pack like wildfire, wiping out not just the pups, but the entire family. That's why researchers monitor dens from a respectful distance, using camera traps to track pup survival without causing a disturbance. Every pup that makes it through its first few months is a victory. The den is both a cradle of hope and a front line in the war for survival. The final secret is subtle, but vital for the long-term fight to save this species. It comes from a simple question: how old is that wild dog? It tells them about survival rates, reproductive success, and the stability of the pack. A population with a good mix of ages, pups, yearlings, adults, and elders, is a healthy one. A population skewed towards only the old or the very young is in trouble. So, how do you determine a dog's age in the wild? For researchers, it's a kind of detective work. They can look at tooth wear or the graying of the muzzle, but those are just educated guesses. The most accurate method was always more invasive. By extracting a tooth from a deceased dog, scientists can count the layers of cementum, a bony substance that forms annual growth rings, just like on a tree. This gives a precise age, but it's a tool that only tells the story after it has ended. To solve this for living animals, researchers developed a clever, less invasive technique. By taking a precise X-ray of a sedated dog's tooth, they can measure the ratio between the width of the pulp cavity inside and the total width of the tooth. As a dog gets older, that pulp cavity narrows. This ratio gives them a reliable age estimate without having to pull a tooth. This information is invaluable. When planning a translocation, knowing the ages of the dogs is crucial for predicting social dynamics. When disease strikes, knowing which age groups are hit hardest helps model the long-term impact. Each age tells a part of the story. An old matriarch carries the wisdom of countless hunts. A prime age adult is the pack's engine. A yearling is the future. By learning to read the scars of time etched into their very bodies, scientists can move from just observing the present to forecasting the future and making the critical interventions needed to ensure these dogs have a future to run towards. We've seen how researchers decode their blood to rebuild fractured populations, witness a democratic vote to hunt, and chase ghosts across vast, unforgiving landscapes. We've entered their brutal, cooperative nurseries and learned to read the story of time in their teeth. These 5 secrets reveal a profound truth. The fight to save the painted wolf isn't just about protecting an animal. It's about protecting an entire social fabric, an evolutionary masterpiece of cooperation and endurance. The threats of habitat loss, human conflict, and disease are still immense and urgent. The work is far from over, but in the dedication of these scientists, there is a clear and powerful reason for hope. Every data point collected, every pack monitored, and every community partnership forged is a step back from the brink. The survival of this iconic species now depends on this unique collaboration between determined humans and one of Africa's most remarkable animals. If you enjoyed this journey into the world of the painted wolf, consider subscribing to our channel for more in-depth wildlife documentaries. Every subscription helps us bring more hidden stories of nature to life.